that they got, I mean, it's incredible. Chick-fil-A sub with the little sliced chicken's pretty dang good. Huh? No, I'm not getting paid anything to say it. I'm not getting paid anything to say it, but it's really good. I didn't know they had it. I guess it's something new. So anyway, it's pretty doggone good if you hadn't had it. Had 2 of them Saturday night after our ball game. They set them in there on my desk, and I came in. I was like, man, that thing was good. Anyway, all right. Well, as y'all know, this is a crazy week. Everything's just kind of out of whack. I'm thankful that I've not had to do this many times since I've been the head coach. I guess every few years or so, it's kind of our turn to have a short week like this to try to cram, 6 days worth of work in about 2.5. But that's just the way it is for both teams, but we're excited about it, looking forward to it. We love to play, and it's kind of fun and neat not have to wait till Saturday to play. So we'll be ready to go. Louisville's a good team. They really are. I know that, everybody, they're 0-2 right now. I wouldn't look too much into that. This is a good football team that I have no doubt will be, in a bowl at the end of the year and has the same chance that we have to compete and win this division. So this is regardless of whether they were 2-0 or these first 2 tough games that they had didn't go their way. This is a great matchup and going to be a electric atmosphere up there in Louisville. And so it's all the same from that standpoint. They've been really, really good at home, very tough to beat. I don't think Coach Petrino's lost many games at home. So we've got to go up there and really have a great focus, excellent execution, take care of the football, do the things that we have to do to give ourselves a chance to win on the road. From an offensive standpoint for them, as y'all know, they've played 3 different guys. Not really sure who they'll play, but we'll be prepared for whoever it is. Good running back, offensive line. They got a couple young guys in there that now aren't young guys, kind of like us. They're getting better as they go. The big thing about their receivers is they're huge. I mean, they're 6'6", 6'4", 6'3" across the board. So there'll be a lot of competitive plays that are going to have to be made by somebody, either our DBs or their wideouts. These guys will challenge us by far more than anybody that we've seen. And then, tight ends, they love to involve their tight ends. They're a big 11, 12 personnel team, and they throw the ball. In fact, their leading receiver is 83, their tight end. So defensively, this group here is really good. It's kind of like us. I mean, they lost some good players on defense, but they got a bunch of new ones in there that can play. A bunch of guys that are going to be really good players. They've had several guys transfer in there that were really good players at other places, and for whatever reason, they're not at those places anymore, and now they're at Louisville, and they're good players there. So we got our hands full from a defensive standpoint, and just making sure that we do a good job. They do an excellent job of attacking your protections. They do an excellent job of creating some different looks where you've got to communicate. I mean, you got to be on the same page, and it's one of the things we didn't do a great job of last week. They did some similar things and we were at home, so it becomes even more paramount when you're on the road. When we're here at home, it's usually a little quieter when we're on offense, but on the road, it's a different deal. So we have to do a great job in preparing for that. I think they're really good in the secondary. They've got size and length. Clemens kid, the kid from Georgia, he's a big, long athlete with great size. The kicking game, they gave up a big return, which really hurt them in the Houston game. If you really look at the game, people just look at the box scores and they go, oh, well, they lost to Houston. Well, first of all, Houston's pretty good. They know what they're doing. But secondly, they turned it over 4 times and gave up a 100-yard kick return and lost by 3 points. So, this is a team that's very, very capable. And just like us, still trying to kind of figure out who they are, and we're no different. So this is a big step for both teams as we get ready to play. I think it's a great opportunity for our team. I'm excited to see us play, and see how we compete for 4 quarters. In a hostile environment, and how we handle there's going to be adversity in the game. How do we handle that, and see if we can find a way to win the game. But one injury update: Ryan Norton got rolled up in our inside period last night, and literally that's one of the reasons I was late. I literally just got off the phone with Danny Poole. Because we did an MRI this morning on him. It's his, y'all know he's kind of been banged up a little bit with his one knee. This is his good knee, and all of his ligaments look good, but he does look like he's got a pretty good sprain on his MCL. So he's definitely going to be out this game, and we'll reevaluate him next week. And they don't right now. They don't feel like there's any surgery that's needed or anything like that. So that's a real positive for Ryan. Kind of a day-to-day, week-to-week type of thing. So hopefully with the open date and all that stuff, he's not going to miss a whole lot of time. So, but that's really the only thing new on the injury front.
Coach, you mentioned that sort of 6 days into 2.5 days. How do you do that? I mean, how do you?
Well, not much sleep, a lot of work in the preseason. And, it started literally on Saturday. Normally on our game days, as coaches, we love those noon games as coaches because our days are always the same. Whether we play at 8 o'clock at night or whether we play at noon, our Sundays are always the same. There's a tremendous amount of work that we have to get done on Sundays, and it doesn't change regardless of when we play. So when you get a noon game as a coach, it's great because you get a chance to kind of relax a little bit with your family and maybe watch some other teams and get a little rest, and then you kind of come in and start fresh on Sundays. But this particular week we went right to work on the next opponent. I mean, we celebrated in the locker room, and then it was on to Louisville, literally grading the film right then. Everybody taking their computers and grading all the tape and getting a lot of our Sunday work done Saturday night. That's the first part of it. And then normally our team's off on Sunday, so we got to bring the team in. So all of our staff stuff had to start earlier on Sunday. So you try to steal a little time there. And then you got to do some camp work. When you're in camp, you got to try to, make sure that you're doing work for all of your opponents, especially those first few opponents that you're going to see throughout the course of the season. You try to get some work, preliminary work done against those guys. So that's all you can do.
Do you feel like you've gotten better at these Thursday night games, maybe just because you know a little bit more about how to prepare them than in the past?
Well, like I said, this is only I think I don't know how many Thursdays I've had, but I think we've won a lot of them. I think maybe lost one Thursday night game since I've been the head coach, I think. And that was that, what is it? 1-1. All right. And I remember the one we lost, it was at Georgia Tech, my first year. Nightmare down there. Had the holding call. We hit Jacoby on the big play. Dadgum Thomas Austin. I can't believe I got him on my staff now. 2 years in a row we had a holding call on Thomas Austin on the same pass to Jacoby Ford to win the game. But I remember that like it was yesterday. And they had the touchdown, off the field goal. It was a crazy night. But, we've been successful on Thursday nights. We hadn't really had this situation very much, and I'm thankful for that. Most of our Thursday night games, usually the league, they try to give everybody the weekend off. If you're going to play on a Thursday, they try to give you the previous weekend off, and that's the best way to do it. But sometimes with TV and scheduling, it's just, everybody's got to kind of step up to the plate every now and then. I guess this was our year and Louisville's year to have to do that. So, it's the same. You would never want it to be this way for one team and not for the other. I think that's not right. But, TV kind of dictates these things, so you just make the best of it. It's just the way it is.
Coach, with so many freshmen contributing, how do you get them ready psychologically for going into a hostile environment the first time?
Well, that's just kind of all part of our preparation process and how we talk to them and the meetings and just kind of our messages that we incorporate, not just this week, but all throughout, our program and everything. You just kind of reiterate some of those things. And the biggest thing is you hope that your veterans will lead the way. But some of these young guys, the only way you can get some experience is you got to go do it. We can talk to them all we want, but you try to just focus them on the things that matter. It's truly, they want to win the division, we want to win the division. That's great, and that's great goals. Well, how are we going to do that? All right. They want to win the game, we want to win the game. That's great. Well, how do we give ourselves a chance to win the game? Okay, well, let's make sure, let's really have great focus in these meetings. Let's prepare with purpose out here at practice. Let's have attention to details. Let's use good technique. Those are the things that we talk about because those are the things that we control. We don't control any of the other things. And these guys will be excited, to go on the road for the first time, and we'll see how they respond.
Presuming that Jay will be the starter at center, any idea how you'll manage? Is he totally the number one? Do you have anybody else?
Yeah, Fauci plays center. He's had a little center. He's had some. There you go. There's a perfect example of these first couple games where we've had a chance to kind of play some guys and move some guys around. And Fauci's played a ton of center. He played center all spring. He played center in the spring game. He's played center in camp. He's played a lot of guard. I mean, he's had good work there. And, he'll be our backup guy at center. Riggs is another guy that will be with us who can snap the ball. So hopefully we don't have to get to a fourth guy, but that's how we'll roll Thursday.
How close is Jay to his peak self right now after missing spring and getting the last couple months?
He's doing a nice job. He's still working his way, into the groove of things. And I think just each and every day he's come to work. He's been incredibly engaged in what we're doing. He's just like everybody else. He's had some good days and some bad days, but he's doing a nice job for us. I mean, we're really fortunate that we have him back because I didn't know if he was going to be back or not. We're really glad we got a veteran guy like that ready to go. And I'm excited about, Justin Falcinelli as well. And not just as a center, but as a guard and the versatility that he gives us in our offensive line. But we're going to need Jay to step up and come through for us, and he will. And regardless of whether Ryan was going to play or not, Jay would have played a ton. Both those guys, we feel good about our position at center. And, we just obviously lose a little bit of experience with Ryan out.
In addition to the communication issues up front, how much did the snaps sort of throw off the timing of what y'all wanted to do Saturday?
It affected us. We had the one really bad, snap, but there was two or three others that were just a little off target, and that it does affect things because now your eyes go away from where they need to be, and just a little bit of out of sync, with what you're doing. But it's important. I mean, that's you got to have the right snap, to execute. And that goes back to what we talk about all the time. It's not the big things; it's the little things. And some of our issues that we had Saturday, and we did a lot of good things. I mean, good Lord. I mean, we scored 41 points and against a really good team that's got a chance to win their conference. And, but we're trying to be great. And it's what we tell them all the time, it's the little things that lead to big things. And we've got to master the little things. And so we were sloppy with 3 or 4 of our snaps. But we were really good on most of them. But we had 3 or 4 where we just kind of, for whatever reason, got out of sync, out of rhythm, lost our focus a little. Had some penalties that were really inexcusable, regardless of what they're doing on defense and moving around and clapping and all that kind of stuff. We have to stay, poised and focused on what we're doing.
Other than the difference in the schedule and the practice schedule leading up to Thursday, it's the ACC opener for you. All eyes are on you on Thursday night. Does it feel different than a Saturday game?
Oh, yeah. It feels real different. I'm like, today is a Thursday for me, but it's Tuesday, and I'm having a Tuesday press conference, and we're traveling to Louisville tomorrow So yeah, it feels really different. But it's great. It's exciting. I mean, we love to compete, and it's great to be able to, be on national TV, and we want to put our best foot forward. So I love the challenge of it.
You said the other day that the bottom line from that game was that your depth needs to get better in a hurry. Is it more difficult now for that to happen? Does most of it have to happen at practice where you really don't get to the field?
Well, I think the best part about these first couple of games is we're able to expose some guys that maybe think they're a little more ready than they really are, because they maybe have had a little success at practice. But the games are just different. It's a different speed. The scout team guys don't always cut back like that guy in the game does. And so, now all of a sudden it is really important that my angles are right and that my alignment's exactly right and my footwork's exactly right. Sometimes you don't quite, because the scout teams don't do that all the time. And so I think being able to expose some of those guys this early in the season is very beneficial to us, because now we can coach them. I mean, you can expose them in front of their teammates, you can coach them, point things out, and teach. And these guys are prideful, in their performance. They want to play well. So I think it's just a real blessing for us that we were able to play so many guys meaningful snaps to where we could, get them on tape. Because I think you can only go so far in practice. Guys have to play. So I think that's the real positive. But as far as moving forward, I just think, hopefully some of these guys, when they get that next opportunity, they'll be a little better. And as we go through the course of the season, what I want to see is I just want to see us improve. I mean, we're not. I mean, it's September the 15th. We're not anywhere near what we're going to be, and we won't be Thursday night. Regardless of the outcome of the game, we can't win the division Thursday night. We can't lose the division Thursday night. We're not going to be our best team of the year Thursday night. We just got to be good enough to win the game, and that's what we're trying to do. But what I want to see is by the end of the year, we have a really good nucleus of depth at some positions that we're going to need it. And so if guys will continue to work, I think that we will develop that.
You mentioned being able to play for 4 quarters. You haven't had to play your first teams in the fourth quarter yet this year. Any concern about conditioning, execution late in games, that kind of thing?
No, I mean, no really reason to be concerned. I think that we're in great shape. I hope that we have a lot of games where we don't have to play them in the fourth quarter. That'd be just fine with me. But we don't have any illusions going up there that this isn't going to be a 60-minute all-in, all hands on deck, slugfest. But I'm excited to see our guys, do that. I mean, we really have just done what we needed to do the first 2 games. We've got control of the games, and we haven't played guys a lot, because we needed to get other people in there. We, did what we needed to do, but that was a little bit more of the objective. But our guys will be ready to go, ready to play 4 quarters, and I think they're going to play well.
What was it in the Houston game that confused Louisville's secondary? Because there was a lot of guys, especially on their touchdown passes, running wide open on those plays.
They just, same thing. I thought Houston did a good job with some of their formationing and some of their motions and stuff. And next thing you know, you get somebody out of position. You get a couple of guys not communicating properly, and then the tempo that they play at. Next thing you know, you got a guy, running open. But that was they had a good plan. And again, I felt like Louisville had the better team, just watching. But the best team don't always win. I mean, they don't. I mean, it's the best player, the guys who play the best, that's who win on that day. And all you got to do is look around college football. You see it all the time. That's why you play the game. If it was just, well, they have the best players and the best team, well, then we'd just decide the game on paper. But you got to play the game, and you have to play well. You have to earn it. It doesn't matter what your recruits are and all that stuff. You got to go out there and earn the win. And Houston did what they needed. They capitalized on the mistakes of Louisville. And then they had the 100-yard kick return. And those are things that ultimately will cost you. So a lot of missed opportunities by Louisville in that game, and I'm sure that's what they're talking about this week. Just like all of us.
Coach, what does Louisville do well?
Well, first of all, defensively, their scheme is challenging. They do a nice job, and you watch the two games that they've played. Right now, we're not really sure who they are. As far as they played Auburn this way, they played Houston another way. Kind of played Auburn with a little bit more of a true 4-3 personnel, a sandbacker in there, and then they played Houston a little more, moved 25 down, and kind of created a little bit more of a nickel personnel. And but by nature, the design of their blitzes and their pressures, what they do up front, I mean, you better be dialed in, because if you're not, it's tackle for loss or sack. And so, we've worked really, really hard, and we've seen some similar things in our first couple of games to prepare us. And then offensively, I think schematically they do a great job. They know what they're doing on offense. They want to be a 12 personnel team. They would love to be able to, move those tight ends around and really do a great, get the running game going and the play action that comes off that, create chunk plays through the play action type game, and they're great with the screens. But they've shown a lot of spread principles this year with number 7 and number 8. They've been very different, very diverse, empty. A lot of the quarterback run game. So there's a lot to prepare for these guys. But, they know what they're doing over there, and it'll be a big challenge for us.
What can you say about Carlos's growth the past couple seasons, especially with the game you had last
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
What can you say about the growth of Carlos?
Oh, okay, Carlos Watkins. Well, he's off to a good start. He's a guy that we're counting on to have a great year for us. And again, after 2 games, he's right where we hoped he would be. And it's great to see him get a big play. Those type of things really breed confidence. And you want to go do it again. It brings great energy. So hopefully that's something that he can build on. But he's had a nice camp, and he's off to a good start. And if he continues on that trend, he's going to have an excellent year.
Does it matter who they play at quarterback? They've been sort of coy about that all year.
Not really. We're going to be prepared, regardless of what they do. Like I said, when 14 comes in there, he really looked like he had a great command of their system and their offense, and they asked him to do some different things. When 7 or 8 were in there, they were a little more spread principles, and with speed motions and quarterback run game built in, load type of schemes for the quarterback. With 8, you got to cover him forever because he has the ability to really run around and extend time, and it's just, there's some plays on tape with that guy where, you just put a clock on it and it's like, 11 seconds. It's unbelievable the amount of time that he buys, and that's a long time. And these receivers they got are big, long, tall, athletic guys. So that's that we've seen it all. But as far as our standpoint, we'll prepare, just like we always have for the things that we've seen on tape. And if they want to get into the spread principles, I think we've got good experience with that. Certainly with what we do on our practice field here. And then we'll be ready for their heavy 2 tight end type of stuff, and the run game and the shifts and movements that come off of that.
Shaq Lawson, co-ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week. Guy's obviously taken on a bigger role this year with some of the guys you lost last year. Just how do you feel as though he's stepped up in these first 2 weeks?
He's done well. He's just a disruptive guy. He's just what I thought he'd be after 2 games. And the biggest thing with Shaq is he's become a really good leader for us. He's a vocal leader. He's a guy that will challenge his teammates, and they listen to him because he's going to put the work in. He's going to bring great effort. He's going to play with great toughness. He's going to chase the ball. He's going to know his plan. He's not going to have a bunch of mental errors and things like that. So it's great when you have a great player like that is also a vocal leader.
Has for Morgan, done enough to merit more meaningful playing time?
He's getting there. I mean, Joe right now is playing well for us, and Joe's. We're really pleased with him. But we threw Frumorgan in there some last week. Just subbed him in. He was one of the few guys we subbed early. With our ones, he did a nice job. He's a guy I have a lot of confidence in. And again, same thing. Just going to get better and better and better because he cares. I mean, it's very important to Fru to be a great player, and he comes out there and competes every single day. He wants to beat Joe out, and so that's the type of competition that you want, and because it makes Joe better. And Joe brings a sense of urgency to practice, and he's another guy that I'm really proud of because he's stepped up and is trying to be a leader for us as well. So after 2 games, he's done a good job. He did have a bust last week on the 1 sack. We had a same thing, a miss. It wasn't a physical error; it was just a mental error, and we turned a guy loose, and so and it was on a draw. It goes down as a sack, but it was actually a draw. But Joe's doing a good job. But we'll continue to play through as needed.
How about at the linebacker? We're talking about depth again.
Yeah.
Any of those guys behind BJ and Ben that?
Oh yeah, I mean Kendall and Jalen are just green and coming. It's just they just got to grow up. We're same thing. They've gotten a lot of good experience these first couple games. I really felt like Kendall last week played well. It didn't seem too fast for him last week. And he's still kind of working his way back into being really full tilt where he's 100% confident in what he's doing because he did miss some practice time. But we're excited about those guys right there. JD and Judah are still learning. They don't get as many reps because we only rep 2 groups, so we have to kind of they got to kind of mentally learn because they don't get quite as many physical reps. But those first 4 guys inside, we feel like we can win with. It's in some fashion. Right now, there's a big drop off, as there should be. You're talking about a 5th-year senior in BJ and a true junior that's played a lot of football and has started games in Ben Boulware. So there's just a drop off there. We signed those guys because we really like their talent. And like I said many times, we were that close to playing Kendall last year. And then Jalen's just getting better. I mean, he's a true freshman out there, and they're going to continue to improve. So the same thing, the game is getting slower to them, as they have played and as they go through more practice and meetings. And but they're not to the level. Where those first 2, we don't have the situation that we had last year, where we take Tony out and here comes Ben. Where we take Stefan out and put BJ inside or slide Ben over and whatever. We just don't have that situation this year. That's just college football. Guys have to leave and you got to go recruit and then you got to coach those guys up. So, but I'll tell you this, they're gonna be good players at some point. But it's when you have, it's the same thing at receiver. Mike Williams and Sharon Peak are mentally better than Deion Kane. They should be. These are really talented guys that have played a lot of ball. Deion is a great. He's a unbelievable talent that's going to be a heck of a player this year. But he's just getting better. He's getting playing a little bit, learn. He can't jump offside, can't have penalties. It's important that we go 4 steps, not 2. It's just coaching. It's just coaching. And some positions you have more experience depth than others. Just like in our secondary. We got a lot of depth and talent and experience back there. But at linebacker this year, that's just the hand we got. Brent knows what he's doing, and he's recruited well at that position. And we just got to coach him up.
Close is Kelly Bryant now to being the number 2 quarterback?
He's improved a tremendous amount. There's no question. We're all excited about him. Coming into camp, he based on where we were this spring, really a long way away from being really in that conversation. But I really feel like he's really closed the gap and has improved. And it's really not anything Nick is doing. Nick right now gives us the best chance to win, and we're all confident, very confident in Nick. Very, very confident in him. And the reason we're confident is because we're at practice every day. And we watch the tape, and we know what he knows, and we've watched him execute, and we've watched him, day in and day out. And he's done some good things in the game. He's had a couple moments, but he's with all the twos, and the play calling at the time's not quite the same. And the two interceptions he've had. The first one we got a sprint out, we get a complete bust by our running back. Now poor two hands on. You shouldn't have had one hand on the ball. And then we get a right read last week. We got the little drive route coming. Offensive lineman doesn't get the guy's hands down. Ball it's fixing to be a big play. And so we have to evaluate what's the decision making, those type of things, and mentally he is right there where he needs to be. I mean, he's not Deshaun Watson, and things have to change a little bit, but we can win with Nick. And there's not anybody in this staff room that doesn't believe that. Same thing for him. He's not a guy that's played a lot, so he's got to go out there and get some experience. And so we've been able to coach him. And then with Kelly, this is a guy that has incredible potential. I mean, he's probably got as much potential as Deshaun, but he's just learning every day, and you want to make sure that you give him a chance to be successful. Has a bright future for us, and with the experience he's got through camp and the opportunity to get into some games, he has really made huge improvement. And we all feel like that. Hopefully by the end of the year, this is a guy that is just like we hope as we're going into next year. We have built some depth and some experience and some competition at the position, and he certainly has the talent to do that.
Anybody got anything else?
Coach, I got one question. How hard is it, everybody thought Louisville was going to be 1-1 coming in. They're 0-2. How hard is it for you and your staff to instill in the players, hey, this is still a good team?
You just watch the tape. It's really easy. I mean, these guys, you turn the tape on and you look at their roster and you look at some of these big grown men they'll get your attention quick. And then they watch the game. They see what happens. I mean, our guys understand football. They understand it's a fine line between winning and losing, a real fine line. It's a play here or there. And then you look at us last year, we didn't score an offensive touchdown against them. And we were knocking on we got no points a couple of times where we're knocking on the door, literally on the goal line. We get a missed assignment on a power play at the end of the game that could have put the game away. We ended up having to kick field goal. We got a first down. We're on the goal line with 17 seconds and no timeouts, and we make a really poor decision and get tackled with the ball in our hands on a sprint out. And don't get to any points. We missed some. We dropped a touchdown pass. I think the second or third play of the game. Mike Williams dropped a huge post over the middle. Perfect throw. Would have put us around the 20-yard line. That we got no points. We had a lot of missed opportunities on these guys. And, our guys, they know that this is a capable bunch. And, again, they lost some good players, but so did we. And when people turn on the film and they go, oh, okay, well, Vic Beasley's gone, but boy, that number 90 is a good player. Oh, man, dang. Corey Crawford and Tavares are gone. Well, that 98's a good player. Stephon Anthony's gone. Whew, that number 10 can play. It's the same thing when you look at Louisville. They got a bunch of good players. They're going to be really good on defense again this year. So, the record has past performance has nothing to do with what's going on today. I tell them all the time, yesterday's touchdowns don't win today's game. You better be dialed in. It's hard to win from week in and week out. And if we're going to be great, then we've got to put our best foot forward every single week, regardless of whether we're playing an undefeated team or a team that's had a couple of close losses. You're talking about 2 losses that could have gone either way. That shouldn't change the mindset, whatever. They got really good players. Really good players.
Coach, thanks very much.